My brother married my cheating ex-girlfriend, and when she got pregnant, she asked me to forgive her and forget the past. I used to believe that people could change, but now I only have one opinion on the matter. Even the most hardened criminals can change, but liars will always be liars. My brother learned his lesson the hard way, insulting me and not believing me when I said that his beloved wife was a liar. She really is your flesh and blood. How can I be sure she's a liar? She betrayed me. Her story of infidelity is so exaggerated. It's unbelievable. I have to tell you the whole story. Tasha 32F, my ex-girlfriend, is now my sister-in-law. I can say ex-wife at the time, cheated on me with my brother. I told my brother she was a liar and not to marry her. Tasha obviously married my brother for his money and nothing else. He wouldn't listen. I didn't attend his wedding, which caused a rift between us. Now he wants to reconcile because Tasha is pregnant. My mother advised me to do so, so I took her advice and gave them a chance. As it turned out, she was still cheating when she gave birth. The child doesn't look like him, so he had a paternity test done. Because now he's seen for himself. Let me explain in more detail. I was really stupid when I was dating Tasha. A really hot girlfriend showing off to other guys. I kind of failed at high school, so this kind of recognition was very important to me. I even spent a lot of money on a car to show off. Tasha was always suspicious during our relationship. She kept calling to check where I was and wouldn't let me talk to any girls. I really wanted to make her feel safe, so I introduced her to my close friends and family. When friends of my friends saw her, they immediately told me she wasn't good enough and told me to stay away from her. I was arrogant and thought they were just jealous of me. I didn't want to ruin our friendship over this, and I defended her. Eventually, I introduced her to my parents and my only brother, Noah. Noah is 3 years older than me, but still acts like a child. I wanted to introduce her to my 67-year-old mother, my 69-year-old father, and Noah. She joined us on our weekend family trip, which I thought would be great for our relationship. I thought we would have a great time at the beach. I was wrong. Tasha and I had a fight because she thought I was looking at another girl in a bikini. I clarified that I wasn't looking at her. She slapped me and went somewhere else. I was so angry that I didn't follow her. After a while, I started to worry about her, so I went to look for her. I looked for a long time but couldn't find her. My parents went to town for shopping. I returned to the beach house, thinking that maybe she had gone back already. To my surprise, I saw Tasha and Noah lying half-naked on the sofa, doing things I didn't want to see. I completely broke down. Tasha said it was my fault because if I hadn't been looking at other women, none of this would have happened. I wasn't looking at other women, but I guess she thinks everyone is like her. My brother gave the excuse that he thought Tasha was not my type and they would be happier together. I was furious at the whole thing and left. I couldn't let it go, and after some investigation, I found out that Tasha had been flirting with multiple men while I was around. She would go out to big meals with them and let them shop for her. I thought it was one of those men. I tried to warn Noah, but he wouldn't listen. I didn't care much and didn't try again. At the time, I was still very angry because my girlfriend had betrayed me, and the person she betrayed was actually my brother. I knew she would betray him too, and that one day he would catch her, and he would feel the way I felt at that time. A few months later, things did not develop as I thought. I received their wedding invitation. I was shocked that my brother was going to marry someone I hardly knew. That person was a gold-digging, cheating liar. I knew then that if I didn't stop the wedding, my brother would pay the price. I wanted to protect him from her, so that he wouldn't get his heart broken in the future. I gathered all the evidence against her, proving that she had a history of cheating. I showed all this evidence to my brother, and he said that Tasha had told him the truth. She just wanted to try different men until she found the perfect one. She told Noah that he was her perfect man, and they decided to get married. Everything she said sounded complete, but my brother was blinded by her love and he really believed her. Noah is a big spender, but that didn't matter to us because we were doing well. Noah earned a lot of money, but my parents also supported him. We didn't have to pay rent because we had our own apartment. My father likes to invest in real estate, so we had a lot of rental income, and we lived in an apartment we owned. We've always had a good life, and I think Tasha feels the same way. I know she's a woman who loves to dig for gold. She made Noah throw a big celebration for their wedding, which cost my dad a fortune. What's even more shameful is that she invited people she'd been with to the wedding. Almost a quarter of the guests had slept with her, and the rest were her eccentric friends and my relatives. My family was not happy about the wedding. My mother just wanted her to be happy, but my father hated her and was completely against the wedding. Her family didn't come to the wedding because they had cut ties with her for some reason. I received an invitation, but I didn't go to my own brother's wedding. My brother called me and begged me to come, but I refused the invitation. I told him I wouldn't attend my ex-husband's wedding. Noah said I was jealous and that I couldn't stand to see him happy. That was the last time I spoke to him for 5 years. My mother called me recently and said he wanted to make up. I told my mother that he should contact me himself, not through her. She said she would ask him to call me, but begged me to give him a chance. Although I was reluctant, I said I would try my best. A few days later he called me and told me that Tasha was pregnant and that they had been together for 5 years and were still getting along well. He wanted me to know that I had misjudged them and that Tasha was a faithful wife. He told me that we should let go of our prejudices and reconcile in order to welcome the new life. I decided to visit them and they seemed like a happy and normal family. Noah mocked me for still being single and urged me to at least find a girlfriend. He thanked me for introducing him to Tasha and for bringing him a happy family. The whole interaction annoyed me, and I was determined to prove him wrong. I was surprised that the relationship had lasted as long as it had, so I tried to find some dirt on Tasha. Apparently, I found plenty of it over the years. This was not surprising. Not at all. She had cheated on my brother many times. She had stayed in hotels with men. I had all the evidence. I had even taken screenshots of text messages from a man named John. They had been dating for 40 months. She had ended it on an unpleasant note. He had shared screenshots of her texts with me. She had also been dating other men. He said he didn't know she was married. She had used him for shopping and going out while her husband was out of town. I found enough evidence to prove that Tasha was a liar, thanks especially to John. One day Tasha called me and said there was an emergency. She was home alone because she was pregnant and I didn't want to leave her alone. I went to their house and she explained that Noah was at work. She told me that she knew I had been asking around about her and that she was willing to sleep with me so that I wouldn't tell Noah the truth. She invited me to the bedroom, but I refused and left immediately. What happened next was unexpected. She lied to Noah, saying that I had asked her to sleep with me and threatened to prove to Noah that she was cheating. I told Noah that nothing like that had happened, that she had called me on her own initiative and offered to sleep with me, so I did not tell Noah the truth about her. Noah simply did not believe me. I tried to provide him with all the evidence that she was indeed cheating on him, but he was so angry that he did not want to hear a word I said. I kept trying to tell him through my mom and dad that she was cheating on Noah. No one wanted to listen to me. I tried to influence the whole family, and now my mom and dad know about her deeds too. My mom is really troubled and she doesn't want to but he was so angry that he didn't want to hear a word I said. I kept trying to tell him through my parents that she was cheating on him. Noah didn't want to listen to anyone. I tried to influence the whole family, and now my parents know about her too. My mother is really bothered by it, and she doesn't want Noah to get into an unhappy marriage, especially after they have children together. My father doesn't care because he thinks Noah is really stupid to stay with her, even though all the signs point to her being a liar. I know Noah was gullible as a child, but now he is just plain stupid. My mother tried to talk to Noah and explained to him that Tasha was not being nice to him. Noah thought I had influenced her, and now she was convinced through false evidence that Tasha was a liar. Noah was angry with my mother, and in order to get him to talk to her, she decided to pretend to believe that Tasha had not cheated. I distanced myself from Noah and his wife, because there is no point in telling someone who doesn't want to believe you that he will be angry anyway because you seduced his wife. A few months later, I got a call from Noah saying that Tasha was in labor and that mom and dad were stuck in another state, their flight having been canceled due to bad weather. Noah was completely panicked, and I didn't know what to do, but I stayed with him. The labor was long and complicated, but in the end Tasha and Noah were happy to welcome a baby boy into the world. I was happy for them, but when I saw the baby, I felt a little strange. The baby had some features that neither Noah nor Tasha had, and it couldn't be genes. When I saw the baby's eyes, he looked like he was switched at birth. His eyes were like those of an Asian baby. I thought to myself, maybe it's because it's a baby, all babies look the same, but deep down I had a strange feeling that seemed to tell me that this child was not my brother. I visited them for a few days, and the more I looked at the baby, the more obvious it became that he was not my brother. I laughed, because at that moment I felt like I had a baby. This was evidence of Tasha's infidelity. I could tell from my brother's face that he knew about it too, because he had been acting very strangely lately. He had no feelings for the child at all. A few days later, my brother came to my house and told me the truth straight out. He told me that he didn't think the child was his and that Tasha had cheated on him. He also revealed that they had been careful to use protection, but that Tasha had just failed. I showed him all the evidence I had collected. That night, I proved to him that she had been cheating on him. Noah cried all night, while Tasha called him again and again, because she could not raise the child alone. I suggested that Noah get a paternity test to clarify the situation. When Noah got the paternity test, it showed that he was not the father. Noah had a big fight with Tasha. We all witnessed the argument because Noah called us all so he wouldn't have to face Tasha alone. Tasha had nothing to argue about because she was clearly in the wrong, but she tried to play the victim and accused Noah of not trusting her and having the paternity test done without her knowledge. She lost her temper and started screaming and throwing things, which scared the baby and woke him up. Noah decides to stay at his parents' house for a few days, taking the baby with him, as he doesn't trust Tasha to take care of Noah in this chaotic situation. I think Noah has grown a little fond of the baby, as have Mom and Dad. Noah sends Tasha the divorce papers, but she's not ready to get a divorce yet. At first, she completely denied having cheated on him and accused Noah of fabricating the DNA report. After another test was carried out and it turned out that Noah was not the father, she started making stupid excuses for her infidelity. She tried to prove that the child was conceived through IVF and that they had a sperm donor. She couldn't prove her claims, so the court granted the divorce on grounds of adultery, but she was awarded custody of the child because my brother has no legal right to custody. She also demanded alimony and child support. The court said she could not demand child support because the child was not Noah's and she was not worthy of support. Tasha blamed me for the whole divorce and kept calling me. She also begged Noah to take her in because she had nowhere to go and take the baby with her. My parents offered to help her through the rough times until she found a place to live and a job. I don't think my parents deserve sympathy, but what can I say? They really are good people. I still can't believe my brother was so stupid and gullible as to marry Tasha. I know I shouldn't hold a grudge, but I feel like my brother is so... He got what he deserved. My ex-girlfriend cheated on me with my own brother, and my brother married her despite my advice to the contrary. When I tried to convince him that she was still a cheater, he didn't believe me, but he tried to sleep with his wife because she told him that I was considering cutting ties with my brother because I was still angry about everything. The reason I still talk to him is that deep down I want to prove him wrong and show him that his wife is a liar and I was right all along. I feel like my mission is complete, the truth is out, and I feel very satisfied. Sometimes I also find it amusing, and I want to rub it in his face, keep bringing it up and watch his face turn white. I know many of you may scold me for these feelings, but I just did what I had to do. My brother is not bad to me either. I really want to know if I should cut ties or continue but keep my distance. Hello everyone. I'm continuing from the last topic about my brother and his cheating wife, who is also my ex-girlfriend. Crazy, right? What's crazier is that she got pregnant by my brother's cheating. After my brother divorced her, she had nowhere to go. So my parents gave her an apartment to live in until she found a job. The only reason they took her in was because she was pregnant, and it would have been cruel to let her sleep on the streets. I know she will use her body to get someone else's house, but my parents are still kind after their divorce. Her lawyer advised her to find out who the child's biological father is so that he can pay child support. She doesn't know who the child's biological father is and feels entitled to let her mother take care of the child and find a job herself. She leaves the child at her parents' house in the morning and doesn't come home until late at night, sometimes not until midnight, and some nights she doesn't even come home to pick up the child. My mother became the child's full-time nanny. My father was very angry about this and asked her not to leave the child with them. Tasha became very angry and threw a tantrum. She called my parents selfish and unfriendly. She said she needed help, but no one was working, and she called my parents and humanitarian organizations because they were unwilling to help her. My mother gave in and continued to take care of her child. My father was very unhappy about this. Noah didn't want to have anything to do with it, but I wanted to get her out of my parents' lives because she was becoming too much for them. I got involved and helped her find a job, but what I found out was shocking. Instead of looking for work, she spent all day at home with her new boyfriend, who had moved in with her and was buying her things. Her boyfriend worked from home and needed peace and quiet, so he asked Tashato take the baby away. When I found out the truth, I told my parents, and they refused to take care of the baby. They also gave her a week to leave the house and find a new place for herself. Her new boyfriend just stayed with her so that he could move in. So when Tasha asked him to find a house for them, he dumped her and ran off. Tasha left home and moved in with her friend C32F, because I was already looking for work for Tasha. I found a job as a cleaner at a daycare center. I chose this position, especially because they were willing to take care of the child while she worked. Tasha accepted the job because she was desperate. What pleased me most was seeing her as a cleaner. She got pregnant by someone else and thought no one would notice if she took care of herself. To be honest, I have mixed feelings about her. I feel like she deserves to suffer, but at the same time, I feel a little sorry for her and the baby, and hope that she will stop cheating and raise the baby well. That's all for now. Thanks for reading this story and for your support. After reading all the comments, I've decided that I won't completely cut ties, but it won't be like it was before Tasha entered our lives. I think he has completely destroyed our relationship. Since the divorce, he has alienated the whole family. I don't know if I should reach out to him or let him be. Please share your thoughts. There's been another update to the thread about my brother's ex-wife and my ex. Thank you all for all the guidance and support. I really didn't know who else to talk to, and your comments have helped me see the issue for what it is. I contacted my brother and thank God he feels ashamed for me as he didn't believe me and has been in a bad place emotionally since the divorce. I'm glad I didn't cut ties and have worked hard to repair our relationship, which hasn't been easy for me as I'm still angry about the whole thing. I think trusting your partner and supporting them is one thing, but blindly believing them and turning your back on the whole family is another. Ultimately, I feel like a big brother. I did talk about my anger and resentment towards him for cheating on me with my girlfriend. He definitely broke the code between brothers. He apologized and learned his lesson not to trust cheaters. He also apologized for laughing at me for being single. I forget a lot of the things he did, but overall, for me, he has been like this all these years, ever since we were kids. But since he married Tasha, he crossed all the lines. As for Tasha, I thought she was doing a good job, but it turned out she couldn't clean at all. She slept with the 47-year-old manager of the daycare center and was promoted to assistant. She didn't know how to take care of children at all, not even her own. The staff complained many times about her attitude towards the children, but the manager wouldn't listen. Later, the parents also complained about her, and they had no choice but to let her go. She begged them to keep her, but it would be bad for their reputation. The manager also ended her relationship with her. After a long search, Tasha was once again unemployed and in despair. Eventually, she found Kyle C39M, the father of her child. Kyle is a wealthy middle-aged Asian man, a con man like Tasha, who is already married to a very nice lady named Rita. Rita must have been very sad when she found out that her husband had cheated on her and had a child. Tasha sensitively appeared at their doorstep, and when Kyle denied any relationship with her and the child, she called the police and sought legal help. Kyle was asked to take a paternity test, and the results proved that he was indeed the child's father. Rita couldn't get pregnant, so she decided to apply for custody of the child. They went to court over it, but Kay didn't want to raise the child, so they lost the case. Tasha, on the other hand, wanted the child so that she could claim child support and provide for her own needs. The court ordered Kyle to pay Tasha child support, and she receives a large sum of money every month. Her child is looked after in a nursery every day, and she can find someone new to satisfy her needs. Tasha is even worse than I thought. She can't stay young and beautiful forever, and she really needs a job so she doesn't become dependent on anyone. No normal man would marry her the way she into this. She's trading from one man to another for her own benefit, and she'll get into big trouble one day. I just feel sorry for this poor child, and I hope she'll turn over a new leaf, because her life has become very easy for now, but I'm sure she'll have hard times ahead. My brother and I have been keeping an eye on her to find out what's going on. I like everything about this city. It's spreading like wildfire. She has a bad reputation now, and no good man wants to be with her because she likes to go after rich men. The company she works for is not good either. I just hope this will not affect the child. Hello everyone, surprisingly, more news about Tasha and her life of cheating, gold digging, and parasitism. As I predicted in my previous post, she will not really be with good people. Some people just have bad intentions and want to take advantage. I respect sexually active women, but she is just that kind of person. She is with our criminal and is closely linked to drug trafficking. She is currently living with a man and overdosed while he was taking drugs. I don't want her to take drugs. She has almost 20 hours without help. Her child was left at home. The child managed to open the door, wandered in the street, almost got hit by a car. The neighbors found him, took him home, found Tasha unconscious. They called the authorities. They had to take Tasha to a rehabilitation center. The child was taken away by child protection. It was found that the child had been exposed to a large amount of drugs and smoke, which had a very serious impact on his lungs when he was very young. Noah felt so bad for the child that we wanted to meet him, and they let us meet the child's father. I mentioned him in a previous post. After confirming that they could take care of the child's father was granted custody of the poor child. My mother also has a lot of feelings for him, so she is very worried. The child was eventually taken care of by Rita. Rita is a school teacher who loves children. She took the child as her own and began to take care of him. What was even more surprising was that Rita filed for divorce against Kyle. She had plenty of evidence that Kyle had cheated on her and was pregnant with another child. She got a huge settlement. Thank God Rita divorced him because she didn't deserve to be with a cheater. Rita not only stayed with the child, she legally adopted him. Now she raises the child like a single mother. I think she's doing a great job, and I'm glad the child is doing well. She also lets my mother see the child, because my mother cares about him a lot and likes him very much. My mother doesn't want to deal with Tasha's temper, so she never wants to get in touch with her. As for Tasha, an overdose left her in hospital for a few weeks. If she had taken more drugs that day or had not been found unconscious, she could have died. The child was malnourished and weak, he was hungry, his nappy was soiled, he had almost been hit by a car, he was crying a lot, and if the child had not been able to open the door, it could have been too late. Tasha had to go to a rehabilitation center for 6 months and had to pay a huge fine, because if she had not done so, she would also have had to go to prison. My brother visited her out of sympathy because he thought she would be upset about losing the child. But she didn't care. She was just sad that she wouldn't get child support from Kyle anymore. But she was glad she didn't have to take care of the child anymore. After her rehabilitation, Tasha went straight to Rita's house and found out that she had divorced Kyle. Tasha took the opportunity to ask Rita for money so that she wouldn't take the child away from her. Tasha didn't know that Rita had legally adopted the child. Rita called the police, accused Tasha of threatening her, and applied for a restraining order. She was warned that if she wanted to see her child, she would go to prison because she had put the child at risk. I keep thinking about what happened. Tasha and Noah were happy, and her life would have been so much better if she had changed and been faithful to him. I don't think she had any reason to cheat. I think she just liked the attention of multiple men at the same time, because I'm pretty sure Noah did his best to give her attention. Tasha ruined her own life, and she's the one who ultimately suffered, but her actions affected her child and Noah. I just wish she would have at least been careful and taken precautions to not ruin the child's life. Luckily, my brother found out about her cheating through the child, so in the end everything worked out. Noah opened his eyes, Rita had a child, and Tasha got her just desserts.